Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We're streaming live right now tonight in 3 different locations late on a Sunday evening. The Heavy on Jets Facebook page to over 30,000 New York Jet fans. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe down below. That's a free way you guys can contribute to today's show. And of course, on my Twitter account as well, at BoyGreen25. We're here late on a Sunday night for a couple of reasons. We'll talk about Quincy Williams, the New York Jets linebacker, signing a brand new contract. We'll talk about some of the interesting details, both from the Jets' perspective and also Quincy Williams' perspective. We'll dive into that a little bit and the ripple effects of that. Plus, the NFL calendar is spinning wildly. We got 2 big dates coming up starting tomorrow. The legal tampering period. We'll explain what that means for a lot of the fans that may not know. That starts at noon. And I guess I'll just jump right into it. That's the first step of the free agency process. Now, free agency doesn't really kick off till Wednesday, March 15th at 4 o'clock. That's when deals can be announced. However, starting tomorrow at noon, that is when deals can start to be discussed and contemplated and all kinds of things of that nature. And as I'm seeing comments pouring in here, which, by the way, this is a show by the people for the people, feel free to get involved in the comment section. We'll bring you up here on the program. Any questions you may have and things of that nature. Obviously, it is March 12th at 11 o'clock. It'll be March 13th in less than an hour. And I'm sure we'll be on for about an hour here, diving into everything. No Aaron Rodgers news. I'm going to be honest. If you would have told me this, earlier in the week when we were on the brink and poised and all that other stuff, I thought that this would have already been in the bag at this point. Obviously, it's not. Here's what my gut says. Take this for what you will. We'll dive into a few of what the insiders are saying, Dan Graziano, Jeremy Fowler, and I'll probably give you guys another update before I head to the radio station tomorrow morning with the latest from Get Up and Sports Center. So I'll probably have another YouTube video for you guys in the morning when you guys are waking up. Help you get up with whatever the latest is on Aaron Rodgers. But I'll tell you this: I believe it happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, as in Monday, as we're recording this live at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. I believe Aaron Rodgers makes his decision tomorrow. And ultimately, I believe that will be coming to the New York Jets. Gathering as much intel as I possibly can on this situation. The Green Bay Packers got to know. The New York Jets got to know. Both teams are at an incredible deficit not knowing if we go through the first day of the legal tampering period, which, by the way, like I said, it opens at noon on Monday, and then it's open basically all the way through the actual free agency starting on Wednesday. So both teams, they're at a severe deficit, quite frankly, not knowing QB1 because the Packers, whether it's Rodgers or Jordan Love, it seems like they're leaning Jordan Love. And obviously the Jets have no freaking idea. The only 2 quarterbacks under contract are Chris Strevler, for all our Strev fans out there, and Zach Wilson. So they don't know. It's impossible to go through the legal tampering period without knowing. So I can only imagine what they'd be telling potential free agents tomorrow. So I believe we get the answer tomorrow. And hopefully, baby, it is before the legal tampering period and before the morning. Personally, I hope they wait a little bit, or it breaks during our show right now, which would be phenomenal to get that live reaction. So either tonight or overnight or tomorrow morning, because I go to the radio station. That's my day job, 10 to 12, Syracuse, and talking about all kinds of things. We'll be talking bracket madness and this Aaron Rodgers things, of course. I would just like enough time to get home. So as soon as it breaks, we could just jump on live. If, I'm still at the radio station or something, like there will be some delay in my response, or I'm going to pull over on the side of the road. That will happen. If Aaron Rodgers is traded while I'm driving home, I will pull over on the side of the road and just give you some crazy scream on my phone, and then we'll give you more details later. But let's welcome everybody in here before we get started with this wonderful program. Let's see. Let's welcome everybody in. Molan here. Unbelievable. We still have no news on Rodgers. Yeah, it is kind of crazy when you really think about it. But he says that, soon. We'll find out. We'll find out when that is. NY Jets fan for Boy Green. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bradley, 13 hours till I lose hope, which I can only assume is the legal tampering period, which you're talking about. Yeah, that'd be pretty wild if we get to noon tomorrow, which again is the beginning of the legal tampering period, or we don't know. That would be bizarre. That would be bizarre and unique. Matthias, one more day of Rodgers. Drew, where you at, Rodgers? I think we're all asking that question. Franco. Yeah, I've seen this floated around. Let me, I guess, just address this in the best way I possibly can. Speaking to all the capologists out there, this is not the reason that the contract has not been exercised. Aaron Rodgers has already admitted it. Both whether he stays with Green Bay, goes to a new team, his contract will be completely renegotiated. I don't know if it's going to be shredded up to pieces and start from brand new, but it's going to be completely reworked. So this option people are talking about that's floating that the Jets couldn't accept, that's all malarkey and somewhat irrelevant, to be honest with you. So that is not the holdup. Now, I have no problem eating the L if this trade gets announced tomorrow and they said, well, the reason why, or it gets announced, let's say on March 17th, the reason why is this. But from everything I heard, everything I understand, every cap person I've talked to, and I know a few, this is non-issue. So the people that are talking about that, from what I understand, it's malarkey because the contract will be reworked again, whether Aaron Rodgers stayed with Green Bay or came to the Jets. So, yes, I've seen this. I've seen this going viral, so to speak, on social media. From what I understand, complete nonsense. But hey, different strokes. That's just what I've heard. G Father, late night work. Love it, Boy Green. Absolutely. We've had a few videos today. We had a morning update on Aaron Rodgers. We had the Quincy Williams. And by the way, we'll get into that in a little bit for all those Quincy Williams fans in the room that we talked about it. That earlier today, Sunday, the Jets, some reports came out from both Rich Cimini and then the national reporters Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler that the Jets were working like hell to retain Quincy Williams. That ended up being true. So we got that video, and then later Quincy Williams ended up signing his deal, which again we'll get into here. So yeah, I guess I'll just get into it a little bit here, pausing our introduction to all you guys. But again, feel free to keep the questions and comments going. Quincy Williams re-signed on a 3-year deal for $18 million. It's got a max value of $21 million, includes $9 million in guarantees. So here's some interesting factoids. You guys can check out more of this on Heavy on Jets. Again, I cover the New York Jets for Heavy on Jets. It's a good deal for all parties involved, and you love seeing that. And obviously, the Jets wanted to get this done because the legal tampering period starts tomorrow at noon, and if the Jets would have let Quincy get to that point, money can get crazy. Now, as we all know, wink, wink, contracts and things are discussed before the legal tampering period. But still, when the waters could have opened up, that's when Quincy potentially could have left. Interesting though. So again, Quincy gets a 3-year deal for $18 million with some incentive. So the base value on a per year basis is $6 million per year. That would rank and does rank right now as the 17th highest paid linebacker in football, which, by the way, free agents get paid. And we will see that, obviously, another account of it where free agents get overpaid. That's just the nature of the beast. However, to get a 17th highest paid linebacker, that's not crazy money. And it's good, solid money. Again, he's a young player. That I believe has gotten better since he first came in. I know he's not a perfect player, and I don't think anyone's ever called it that. He's an aggressive player. And again, I'd rather have a guy who's too aggressive than not aggressive enough. That has that it factor, and I can build around it personally. That's what I value in a linebacker. He is an incredible hard hitter. Just doing a quick Quincy Williams diatribe here. He's an incredibly hard hitter, both against the run, when he's just straight up facing the run, or even when he's in some level of pursuit as a linebacker. And that's infectious energy to his teammates. It's infectious to me. Again, I try to mimic the dance. I almost throw out my hip when I'm doing it off the couch. But he's just a really talented player. And Robert Saleh mentioned it when he spoke virtually at the NFL Combine that they want to, quote unquote, run it back with the defense and bring as many of those pieces back as possible. And Quincy was a priority for this team, and they're able to bring him back. So now you got C.J. Mosley, you got Quincy Williams. We'll see what happens at the third linebacker spot. Quan Alexander is a free agent, but Quincy was a higher priority for me than Quan. Quincy's younger. Number two, I like that Quincy was in Jacksonville. They dumped him on the side of the road. The Jets scooped him up, kind of dusted him off, and then he's developing, and I think there's more to get there. I like Quan a lot. I think he brings a lot of chutzpah, a lot of energy, baby, to the table. But his unique year of being healthy for the first time since his Tampa Bay days seems to be more so an outlier than the reality of what's going to happen. Again, I hope all the health in the world for Quan, but I think it was a good investment by the New York Jets. So, again, Jets-wise, they're paying the 17th highest paid linebacker in football. Works out for the Jets. For Quincy's side, he gets a massive pay raise, obviously, for this year and, quite frankly, moving forward. His career earnings to his first 4 seasons in the NFL was $5.4 million. He just signed a 3-year deal, which pays him $9 million in guarantees, so nearly doubles the amount of money he's made so far in the NFL, guaranteed. Booyah, right off the bat. And then a $6 million per year evaluation. So each year he would make more than he's made in his first 4 years together. So this is one of those perfect situations where it's great for the Jets, it's great for Quincy, and let's roll on and move on. Now, a couple of ripple effects here. We'll just keep going to the Quincy thing, then we'll dive into some other topics. Obviously, Quincy Williams being signed helps your case with Quinnen Williams, who responded on Twitter, going like, well-deserved shout out to his older brother for getting locked in, which again could only help in the Quinnen Williams potential contract negotiations. They kept his brother. You'll keep Quinnen. The only other thing, though, I will say on the Quinnen thing real quick is the Jets better pay Quinnen as quickly as possible. I know Quinnen said he wants to be paid as quickly as possible, but Nicole Lynn, who's a wonderful agent for Quinnen, should probably advise him, just not us related or Jets related, him, Quinnen, to wait it out, because Deron Payne got a $90 million contract with $60 million of that guaranteed, and he is the second highest paid interior defensive lineman, only behind Aaron Donald at this point. If Quinnen continues to wait, there are several other super talented interior defensive linemen that are about to get paid some big time money, and Quinnen could just wait till all those guys get paid and then say, yeah, I'll take $1 more. And those will be the flatline floors of those negotiations. If the Jets are smart, they'll be like, let's sign this guy as soon as possible. The problem, of course, is this Aaron Rodgers situation, that they are waiting for Aaron Rodgers. So it's impossible to plan your cap around a quarterback you don't have yet, which makes it complicated. So I understand why the Jets have not signed Quinnen yet, because there are other complicating factors. You want to structure Quinnen Williams' contract to help you, maybe a low cap hit potentially here in 2023, and then it kind of is backloaded on the back end there. Number two, well, last point, excuse me, wherever the numbers were. The Jets were floating around some big-time linebacker names, including Tremaine Edmunds. There was a lot of smoke that the Jets were interested in Tremaine Edmunds. Now, here's the difference, of course. Quincy's getting a $6 million per year evaluation, and you know the guy and he knows the system, so that's a smart investment. Tremaine Edmunds could get anywhere from 13, 14, 15, hell, even $20 million per year, according to some people that spoke with those NFL insiders, Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler, earlier on Sunday. And by the way, that money's a little crazy, to be honest with you. Maybe the Giants, who have those Bills connections, obviously Joe Shane and Brian Dable may be willing to roll out that kind of money for Tremaine Edmunds. I would have been excited about the athlete, the age, and things of that nature. But I think from a cost perspective, the Jets were better served, quite frankly, rolling with Quincy. So a couple of notes and quotes there from that perspective. But yes, late night work, G-Father. Drew, it's getting a little scary, to be honest. Again, Drew, sure. Yeah, we're living life on the edge here. Again, heading very close to, we are almost, 12 hours and 45 minutes away from the legal tampering period. Yeah, it's getting a little funky. We would have rather known by now. But again, if you can get Aaron Rodgers, it's all worth it. We can laugh about this later. If you don't get Aaron Rodgers, then, oh yeah, things get concerning. But I still feel confident they're going to get Aaron Rodgers, and I think it happens tomorrow. Raw Power, G. Gosh Willikers, Boy Green Live, juicy. You damn right it is, baby. And we are here. We're excited. A couple of things, by the way, happening this week. In case you guys did not see it, the Jets have done a documentary. I'll actually be going behind the scenes and giving you guys some key juicy details later this week. But on March 16th, the Jets are releasing a documentary about all these Jets people on Twitter, and they invited me to their facilities. They interviewed me. I will be a part of the documentary. So we'll see. I'm kind of excited to be, quote unquote, on the big screen with the Jets. It's an absolute bucket list item. So guys, keep an eye out for that. March 16th, later this week. Again, the Jets Twitter. It's Diehards Jets Twitter, the documentary, and I will be in it. I was interviewed, photo shoot, all the works. It was really cool. So that'll be coming later this week. Free agency, obviously, on Wednesday. Legal tampering period tomorrow. And then Aaron Rodgers, obviously, at some point as well. Let's see. Steve V here. JD has to know at this point, legal tampering period starting at noon tomorrow. Yeah. Again, I will tell you this. From speaking to Jets people that work there, speaking to people that cover the team, the Jets have had a quiet confidence this entire time that even before all this Aaron Rodgers stuff, in terms of their actual private plane meeting and everything, they've had a quiet confidence that they either knew they were getting Aaron Rodgers or they had like a 90% confidence level they were getting. And that explains the Derek Carr, go ahead, sign with the Saints. By the way, did anyone see that Derek Carr quote, by the way? I'm not going to promise you wins, but I'm going to promise you great effort. The hell? I mean, I'm going to be honest. It just felt like if I was in the audience, we were doing kind of like a comedy routine, and they're like, Derek, hey, Derek, Paul Eston here with the media. What can Saints fans expect from you this season? Yeah, I'm not going to promise you championships, wins, accolades of any nature, anything really, but I will promise you good effort. And I just would have been, if I was in the audience, I'd be like, the hell? What? What do you mean? So yeah, way to rev up a crowd, Derek Carr. Good effort. By the way, no matter what happens here, obviously the Jets went after the right guy. Like there was some flirtation where I thought, you know what, maybe Derek Carr would be good here. But hearing that answer, hell no. Good effort? The flying hoot? What the good effort? People are trying to win here. I can't promise you wins, but I'll promise we'll try hard. Put that on a t-shirt. Good Lord. But anywho, back to your point, Steve. It just seems like the Jets have a confidence that they're like, oh, this is happening. It's going to happen. Now, the only way you have that confidence is by knowing something that we don't know. Again, Matt LaFleur, Robert Saleh, best friends. That helps. The head coach of the Packers, head coach of the Jets, number one. Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator, a best friend of Aaron Rodgers. And then, like Joe Douglas, I was obviously spoke with Brian Gutekunst, the Packers general manager. So they've just had this confidence, and the Jets reached out prior to the Super Bowl, and they've been speaking with the Packers ever since. We're going on a month plus here of those conversations. I don't know. They seem to have a confidence about it. We'll see if that is indeed true. Drew, honestly, the news could happen at 12:30. Hopefully it happens during the show. If we like immediately log off and then they break the news, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be sad. Drew, a lot of nuggets have been dropping past midnight. I was asked this question. It's actually going to drop in our mailbag on Heavy on Jets tomorrow, but I had to answer it tonight for tomorrow. They said, what's your guess? We do a weekly mailbag. What's your guess on how the news comes out with Aaron Rodgers? Is it like a Diana Rossini? Is it Aaron Rodgers himself? Is it the Pat McAfee show? And so my partner in crime, I do a weekly show with former NFL general manager Randy Mueller, and he thinks it's going to be Pat McAfee. I don't think so. Like maybe. I'm not going to completely rule it out, but I don't think so. Diana Rossini is probably your best bet from a reporter standpoint. She seemed to be as on this kind of story as you can be. There's a lot of obviously convoluting factors in all this, but my guess was Aaron Rodgers himself. And because he had that line on the Pat McAfee show a couple weeks ago where he's like, if you're not in the inner circle, by the way, that felt very Meet the Fockers, the circle of trust, like you're not in the circle of trust. So I was getting those Meet the Fockers vibes. Just me. But I think that there could be something to that where Aaron Rodgers just drops it. I don't know if it's a picture of him in a Jets uniform or a cryptic tweet or something. And then he kind of like takes a shot at me like, y'all don't know what I'm doing or what I'm about, but boom, I'm going to New York. I break my own news, baby. I could definitely see that. And that's where I'm leaning. So maybe that'll come. Snowball, good things come to those who wait. I read that in a fortune cookie once. I love it. Derek, hello from VA, Virginia. I was born in Virginia. True story. Norfolk, Virginia. My dad was in the Navy for 20 years. I was born on a naval base in Virginia. I was only there a couple of weeks before we started moving all over the place. But yes, Virginia. Franco, my thoughts are NYJ want 2-year commitment from A-Rod, who's unwilling to commit after 1 year. Someone else brought this up, Franco, on social media, saying what could be the holdup? Like, what's the holdup? If there's quote-unquote mutual interest, as has been reported by Jeremy Fowler, between Aaron Rodgers, the Jets, and the Packers to all figure this out, that could very well be a factor, that the Jets are like, hey, man, if we're going to do this, we want 2 years, 3 years, whatever. And Aaron Rodgers like, I still want to play it year by year. But I'll tell you this, and I said it on my other video, if Aaron Rodgers ultimately, like, rubber meets the road, it's like, okay, deal or no deal, right? Howie Mandel, he's like, Paul, deal or no deal? and the deal is, hey, I'm only going to play 1 year and then we'll see what happens. I'm taking the deal. Yes, I'm signing up for Aaron Rodgers. The Jets haven't been to the freaking playoffs, in 12 years. So you're telling me you got one chance, one opportunity to just chase it, make a run? Hell yes, I'm signing up for 1 year of Aaron Rodgers. And any Jet fan who isn't is like, I don't know, numb. They have no feelings or emotions left in their lifeless body. 100% I'm willing to sign up. Again, would I want 2 years? Would I want 3 years? Of course. Who wouldn't? More runs at the chance, the championship. But I'll take one. Easily, I'll take one. And obviously, with that point, Franco, compensation is involved. If he's guarantees 2, like he tells Packers, oh, I'm playing 2 for them, and the Jets, I'm playing 2 for you, then the Packers are like, all right, pay up a little more. If he goes, it's year to year, and the Jets are kind of like, well, if he's only going year to year, we're only willing to pay this. I think there is a lot of complicating factors. I will give a shout out again to that ESPN NFL Insider article. It's an ESPN Plus article. It says that a lot of trade proposals have been exchanged between the Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets with different varieties, like the Jets sending players back, the Packers sending players back, picks. Hey, if we, and now we're just kind of pontificating, but hey, if we pay 45 of the 59 million, we want a first round pick in this. And the Jets say, well, if we only pay 20 million, then we get this and this. So apparently multiple, various difficult, complicated ass proposals have gone back and forth between the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. And that could also be another factor. Again, this is ultra complicated. Aaron Rodgers is old as hell. He's 39. Is he going year to year? Who's eating more of the contract? If they are, what's happening? Do the Packers want more players than picks? Do they want picks and players? Like, are some of the future picks conditional? Because that would make sense to protect the Aaron Rodgers Jet side of things. So I think there's a lot of factors that are going into that. Let's go to Bradley. I'm getting up at 4 a.m. to drive and getting to my destination at 12:30. Oof. Longest drive of all time for me also. I've had, let's see, so what is that? 8.5 hours. Yeah, I've done a few of those. I visit my parents in New Hampshire during the summer. That's some 7-ish drive. I've done the New York to South Carolina. That's like 14 or something like that. Off the top of my head. So I've done a few of those, but God bless. Good luck. Hopefully you get some Aaron Rodgers updates during the trip. That may make you feel better. Just Jim. I think Aaron and I have different definitions of soon. Absolutely. Mike Garofalo made a joke about this on the NFL Network show. Aaron said soon, like pre-Super Bowl, like, hey, soon I'm going to make my decision. Obviously, we're on March 12th. So it's been at least this long, and no guarantee it's made today or tomorrow, March 13th. But it's interesting because he really went out of his way saying, hey, man, you know what? I don't want to drag anyone along. You don't want to drag anyone along. The legal tampering period's tomorrow, pal. Yeah, I think we all have a different definition of soon. Well, Carr's already in New Orleans, so that option's off the table. It will be Aaron Rodgers, I believe. Before or after McAfee show? I believe, for me, well, I guess McAfee is 5 days a week, but his normal Aaron Rodgers bit during the season is on Tuesday. So I believe we find out before the legal tampering period. So somewhere in the morning. Is it right? Oh, is it overnight? Is it live during the show? Is it 7 a.m.? Is it 8 a.m., 9 a.m.? I don't know. But I think it's before noon. We'll see if I'm right. Chris, is that egotistical bastard? Too much news today for Rodgers to announce. He wants his day tomorrow. That could be. And boy, would he be dominating all the headlines, all the shows and everything. Even my own radio show. If he just says, yeah, I'm going to the Jets, boom, he dominates the day. So if that's his motivation, I believe so. Vinny and the Jets. Good evening, Boy Green. Keep up the good work with your content, my man. Yeah, I will say, by the way, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's your feet. If you're watching right now, you're like, how can I support the show? And I don't have any money to give. Like the video, makes a huge difference on YouTube, and hit subscribe down below. And you could support. What are some of the things? So I'm this random guy in a Jets hat and Jets shirt is talking to you. Like, what can I provide you? Well, over the last week, we had 3 superstar guests. Bryce Huff, New York Jets defensive lineman. You may have heard of him. Pretty good. He talked about his contract situation. That's on the channel. How about Field Yates, ESPN NFL insider, to talk about the latest with the Aaron Rodgers situation and free agency for the Jets? That's on the channel. And the latest of which was yesterday on Saturday. Randy Mueller, former NFL general manager, take us behind enemy lines on these kinds of negotiations and meeting with players and all kinds of things. 3 superstar guests, and that's just 1 week, baby. Who knows who could be joining us at some point this offseason? So we do videos like that. We'll do updates, like an update video in the morning, a 5 or 10 minute video on the latest with Aaron Rodgers, or live streams just like this. So, guys, if you want Jets content, there's no better place to get it than right here, baby. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. Also, if you do have some change in your tin cup and you'd like to share it, feel free to do so with the YouTube Super Chat feature. Guarantee your comment gets answered here. I try to go through all your comments, by the way, but that guarantees your comment gets answered on the show. And I will give you an awesome shout out, of course. But Vinny, thank you so much for the kind words. Zandy, it's already 4 p.m. Monday the 13th in New Zealand right now. Still no news. Well, Zandy, keep us posted. So I'm not sure how the time zones work, but maybe you will know the Aaron Rodgers stuff before us and you could tell us like in the future. I know that probably sounds dumb, but if you could do that, Sandy, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. Alexis, what did we even ever do to the football god so we have to wait this long? I can't take this anymore. Yeah, I don't know. But again, who's that guy earlier? Good things come to those who wait. I can only hope. A lot of nervousness. I see that. Meta in here, nervous. Yes, very nice. Okay, I see we have a super chat. So I will come back to some of your comments in here in a second. But I see this one coming in. Let's go to Ron Weiss here. Thanks for hanging out with us, bud. We have scabs on every knee and every elbow right now. He hasn't stopped dragging us around. Back-teen for everyone. Yeah, 100%. It feels that way, Ron. I'll be honest. But again, as I've said a few times, if he drags us around and then doesn't pick us, it just feels excruciatingly worse. And we also addressed actually this point with Field Yates on the show on, I think that was Friday. All the days are blurring together now, to your point. But I think the interesting thing is that obviously if he drags along and then he does not come to the Jets, it's going to seem like the worst thing in history, because to any Jets fan, you'd be like, wow. So Aaron Rodgers met with the Jets brass and then said, you know what, I'd rather retire or play for the Packers. I don't think he's going to say play for the Packers, because then like Jordan Love's like, F it, I'm out of here then. So that creates all kinds of other convoluted factors. So I believe really the only 2 choices really, and even the retirement one I don't believe, is retirement or play for the Jets. And if he said, no, I'd rather retire, so take my $60 million, I'd rather be doing other things in my life, like that would be a hard thing to overcome. Although, according to Field Yates, he doesn't think Jet fans should look at it that way. But we'll wait to evaluate that option properly if and when the Jets don't get Aaron Rodgers. But to the other side, if he's dragging us along and then tomorrow he announces, we're going to be popping the bubbly like nobody's business. So that's the ultimate factor. It's just, what's the decision? If it's for us or against us. If it's for us, all the dragging is going to be worth it. And again, we can laugh about it and hear what Aaron Rodgers says, because if he does come to the Jets tomorrow, let's say, when he has his introductory press conference, the media is going to say, what the hell took so long? You said you weren't going to drag people along. You dragged people along. What gives, man? So I'm sure he's going to get a lot of that if indeed that happens. But Ron, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. I appreciate the support on the channel, man. That means a lot. Thank you. And guys, also, that's it. Your comment gets a different color. I give you a big shout out here on the show, and it helps keep the lights on, baby, which is great. So I appreciate it. Let's keep going here. He should retire. Okay. I still want him, so no. Bill Fawn, best years still could be ahead for Quincy. You better hope they are. I mean, he's 26, I believe, turns 27 during the season, if my age numbers are right. Let me double check that. I don't like being wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure he's 26, and he turns 27 during the season. Let's see. 1996, so he is 26. Nailed it. And he turns 27. Oh, right before the start of the season. So, okay, that's late August, basically the season, but not quite. Yeah, I still think he has a lot of potential, and I think if with what we've seen from Robert Saleh and him only getting better, I can only imagine what he will continue to do. When he first came, it was funny because when players are cut, every Jet fan goes, Jets? when Quincy got dumped by the Jaguars, I said, beyond just the name, I think he could be an intriguing guy for the Jets. So I wrote a pre-article the day he was cut, and the Jets ended up claiming him off of waivers the next day. And I was like, yeah, baby, we nailed it. But I couldn't have possibly imagined this kind of spike that he's had in his career. It's been remarkable and great for Quincy, man. Again, he's not a perfect player. I think he over pursues a lot. He's super aggressive, but he just needs to kind of profile and work his way down and make some things happen. So, but I think he's a talented player, and I love the re-sign. Absolute great re-sign. The money's good. It's good for him. It's good for the team. Absolutely love it for Quincy. Let's go to the Jersey Jet fan. What are the chances you think we land A-Rod tomorrow? It has to be us or retirement. No shot Green Bay takes him back. Yeah, because like going through the options, because those are the three. Jets, retirement, Packers. Let's go through them. Retirement, again, that just doesn't seem to make any sense. With all the crazy money, I know that he says I can walk away from the money. Like, could any of us walk away from the money? No. So I take that off the table. You go to Green Bay, like, man, they clearly want Jordan Love. Mark Murphy was so blunt and transparent during that girls' basketball interview, like uncomfortable. He talked about Aaron Rodgers in the past tense. Like, no way. And then the Jets are the only team that's met with him. And all these people saying, like, a surprise team can come out of nowhere. Who the hell's a surprise team? Someone brought up the Panthers. They just traded the #1 pick. That ain't happening. The Raiders, that's not happening. And plus, by the way, if any team comes in, they have to do all the gosh darn steps the Jets just did. Meet with Aaron Rodgers, get permission, and all this other crap. We've heard zero. Unless there's some sort of secret behind-the-scenes nonsense that none of the people know, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to the Raiders. And then we're like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? Like, they have to go through all those steps, and I believe all that would be public because the reporters in each of those locations would dope it out. So to me, yes. What are the chances? With this spiraling craziness, I'll say I believe there's like a 70% chance Aaron Rodgers announces tomorrow he's coming to the Jets. That's my gut. That's what my gut says. We'll see if I'm right. King says tomorrow's the day. Oh, we can only hope. Alon here. Love the hard work, BG. Would you be surprised if something isn't announced with Rodgers, positive or negative, before the legal tampering period? Yes. So take this for whatever you will. Again, Aaron Rodgers hasn't told me, but I believe, for better or for worse, the decision of Aaron Rodgers happens before the legal tampering period. Again, is that, and I'll repeat this, I'm sure, a few times during the show because we'll have some iteration of some of these questions. Is it live during this show? Is it overnight and we wake up to it? Is it somewhere in that early morning, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, it just boom drops? I think it happens before the legal tampering period and we just find out whatever it is. Again, I feel like the decision has to be the Jets. I don't know what else the decision could be, but whatever it is, for better or for worse, I believe comes before the legal tampering period. That's what my gut says. NY Jets fan 4. When Quincy's on his game, this guy's absolutely deadly. 100%. He's an incredibly hard hitter. He needs to get a little better in pass coverage. There's no question about it. Like I said, he's not a perfect player, but he brings some juice, and that is something that's an intangible. You can't, calculate that on a scale of like, oh, it means this or it means that. No, he is absolutely. And the Jets are not betting on what he's done in the past, what he could do in the future. That's what contracts are. And I think people misinterpret that all the time. It's not like paying them, wow, you've had some really good years over the last couple of years. No. We think you can have even better years. That's why people sign contracts. Kev_Chad. I feel like JD signed Quincy to delay Quinnen extension to next year. Kev, to me, I'm going to be honest, that doesn't make any sense. Like, Quincy was set to be a free agent, so if he didn't sign him, then he was a free agent. He signs with somebody else. No, I think the Quinnen extension happens this offseason. While I get your point, technically, he has the fifth-year option to play in 2023. The Jets have a pair of franchise tags to use after that if they wanted to, which would 2023, 2024, 2025. So 2026 technically is when you have to then make a decision. I think the Jets understand that Quinnen is a key piece to the puzzle. And by rewarding him, first off, you should for the season he had, but it'll send a message to the rest of the locker room like, look, if you work your ass off, you grind, that happens right there. Look at that guy. Look at Quinnen, team MVP. Look what happens. So, no. Interesting comment, but no, I don't think so. I would be flabbergasted if Quinnen's extension did not happen this offseason. Like I said, sooner rather than later would be the smart play. Alon here. Adam Thielen. Yeah, I made a comment earlier looking at the wide receivers available. We'll get into some legal tampering period stuff. I'll sprinkle that in here during the show of places I think the Jets can go. At wide receiver, they need somebody. They cut Braxton Berrios, so pull out the violins. Corey Davis could be cut. We'll see. Although the wide receiver market, the way it looks, I may keep Corey Davis. I wanted to get rid of him earlier this offseason, but the more I look, I'm like, hey, maybe if you can replace him with somebody like Thielen, to your point, or personally, I would attack the trade wide receiver market, whether that's Hopkins, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton. Like those are some sexy names. The names are just kind of hanging out in the weeds and for agency. I'm kind of like, bleh. Like Adam Thielen's fine. I really like Adam Thielen. It's a touchdown scoring machine, depending on money. But yeah, I would probably go trade to fill the wide receiver hole. Let's go through a couple here, just since we're on the topic. Couple pieces. Here's somebody to look out for. So let's go to center first. Connor McGovern is scheduled to hit the open market. The Jets have not discussed an extension with Connor McGovern when he was having his exit meetings. Name to watch, Jake Brendel. Okay, if this name ends up signing with the Jets, don't be surprised. Jake Brendel of the San Francisco 49ers. He's 31 years of age. He played 98% of the snaps last season. He could be, quote, a cost-effective alternative, according to Rich Cimini. He's a guy that actually the Jets have already reached out to. Again, technically legal tampering period. That's not supposed to happen until noon. But the Jets have already expressed interest from what we've heard to Jake Brendel. Keep an eye out for him. Houston's also interested in Jake Brendel. He could be another cost-effective option. And just, again, kind of quick detour on that. So remember that name during the legal tampering period at center. If the Jets are going to pay a lot of money to the quarterback position, they got to save the money in other places. Again, is that center going from Connor McGovern to either Jake Brendel or a rookie, or, other positions on the team that you're going to have to take. All right, a little bit of this money, that's in the quarterback pile. A little bit of this money, back in the quarterback pile. That's something to keep in mind. So Jake Brendel is on that list for the Jets. Wide receiver, as I mentioned, I'd probably go trade. The guy to keep an eye out for, of course, is Odell Beckham Jr. He had a workout in Arizona on Friday. The Jets were in attendance for that meeting. There's been some rumors that OBJ is looking for $20 million per year. I don't know if that's true. I mean, some people are reporting it, but there's no way. There's no friggin' way. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. That's too rich. Especially, he didn't play at all in 2022. He's had a couple of ACL injuries. I'm interested in OBJ, no question. He's a star talent, and I'd love to bring him back to New York. That'd be sexy, especially with a really talented quarterback. But I'm not paying $20 million a year. Maybe incentive laden, something you can put together, but I don't think so. Other names to watch, again, if Aaron Rodgers comes, it's the groupies. Randall Cobb, slot experience. Alan Lazard could be part of that package deal potentially as well. That could make a lot of sense. So look out for that. Again, Cobb, Lazard, OBJ, if the money is right. But I would also go trade for wide receivers. Some more legal tampering period stuff we'll get to in a second. I see we got another super chat here. So one other thing, I'll say this real quick, then I'll get to the other super chat that just came in here. The safety position. So the Jets traded for Chuck Clark. Great guy. I actually advocated for it on the Buffalo Jet fan. Again, I don't give predictions, baby. I give spoiler alerts. Booyah. Chuck Clark, last year of his deal, super durable players, played 100% of the snaps over the last 3 years. He will plug and play as one of the starting safeties for the New York Jets. So he's great. Team leader, good guy. Jets get him for a bag of Doritos, a 7th round pick. Great, phenomenal, fantastic. I think he's going to be a nice fit. Now, is it Chuck Clark, Jordan Whitehead? They play similar positions, although some of the interchangeable stuff at safety could be interesting. Do the Jets do this at the safety position? There is a lot of big names. Jesse Bates, Cincinnati Bengals, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Philadelphia Eagles. Do the Jets do this? Joe Douglas plays the dangerous game of juggling. He does some investigative work on both Jesse Bates and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And if they're like, oh, we'd be interested, Jets cut Jordan Whitehead, save that money, use that pile of money on top of the money they have to pursue one of those guys. And we're talking about the best secondary in football. DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, Michael Carter II, Chuck Clark, and then like a Jesse Bates CJ. Move the hell out of the way, baby. That could be spicy. Keep an eye out for that. There's been some chatter. Connor Rodgers' opinion is that the Jets will allocate some money to safety. Safety is going to be a very sexy position out there. Keep an eye out for safety. Again, the Jets just could roll it back with Jordan Whitehead. He's not a guarantee to be cut, but if the Jets flirt in the market and then they say, oh, we can upgrade over Jordan Whitehead, they'll move some piece around like boop, 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 save the money here, boop, move that money over there, boop, 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 boop. That could happen. Keep an eye out for that. We'll dive into some more stuff here in a second, but like I said, we will always jump to the YouTube Super Chats to cut the line here. Again, that option is available for any of you guys on the YouTube channel. feel free to drop in a super chat, baby. Ron, right back at it, baby. And booyah, the golden super chat. Oh, oh. A little bit of that action. Beautiful. Love the support for the channel, Ron, here late on a Sunday night. You were dead on. The Jets and us fans want A-Rod for 2 years. A-Rod only wants 1 season. Jets are holding him up because Green Bay is done with him. The Jets are the only takers. That is the unique position of leverage here in the power, that since there's no other teams involved here, Ron, and again, thank you so much for the super chat, baby. That keeps this engine rolling. I love it. But since the Jets are the only taker in this, and then it's kind of this awkward staring contest on who breaks first. So I think it very well could be that factor. And the Jets should try to push for as much as possible, for the Packers to eat as much money as possible, to give up the least amount of picks, the least amount of players potential if those are involved, and then push for Aaron Rodgers guaranteeing either with contract structure or conditional pick, like, hey, you're playing as long as you possibly can. So I don't blame the Jets for trying something like this. Again, it is an incredibly complicated structure for these deals. Again, I wanted this agreed to yesterday, as all of us did, but there are a lot of complicating factors in here. And maybe if it drops tomorrow, at the very least, like Rodgers wants to come here and then the rest is a formality, the Jets are going to figure it out. Like once we see the contract and how it all complicates out and maybe players here and there, then we're going to be like, oh, okay, no wonder it took forever. Look at all this. So I think that could be a factor as well. Again, the Packers have basically admitted publicly it's Jordan Love time. And another thing that Mark Murphy said is he said, the question was, can you see Aaron Rodgers being the starter for you in 2023? He said, well, if things don't go our way, I guess. That's what he said about Aaron freaking Rodgers. So to that point, I believe he's a dead man walking in Green Bay, and the Jets are going to try to do anything and everything in their power to be able to bring him into the fold and do it as cheaply as possible. Again, guys, you just have to be patient. I know that's not what Jet fans want to hear. No one wants to hear that in terms of patience, especially with everything going on. But again, guys, just ride the train, baby. It's going to be important. But Ron, thank you so much for the super chat, guys. Thank you as always. Again, like the video, hit subscribe, baby. This is fun on a Sunday night. Let's go to Franco here. Who's priority free agent signing next? Greg Zuerlein, Nate Herbig, Quan, Huff, anyone else? Okay, let's go through a couple of these. Bryce Huff, restricted free agent. We spoke with him last week. The Jets did not tell him what restricted free agent tender they will give him. Again, they have 3 choices because he was an undrafted free agent. First round tender, second round tender, or right of first refusal. The first 2 tenders are somewhat self-explanatory. If a team signs him to an offer sheet and the Jets don't match that offer sheet, they would either get a first or second round pick, depending on the tender the Jets place on him. It'll be one of those 2 tenders. The third option is called the right of first refusal. The Jets would have a chance to match any contract. If they chose not to, they get no compensation back. Because of how talented and good Bryce Huff is, they will slap one of those higher tenders on him, either first or second round. Now, obviously, the higher tender you go up, the higher money you have to pay Bryce Huff. So that can be a complicating factor sometimes in this. But I believe they will slap either a first or a second round tender on Huff. Of course, they can avoid all of that by just handing him a long-term deal. We'll see if the Jets choose to dive in those waters. They seem like a restricted free agent, kick the can down the road sort of thing. Quan, I like the player. I think he's going to be too rich, especially with the Jets investing in Quincy. Unfortunately, unless he came back on a veteran minimum deal. Unlikely. Herbig, with Elijah Tucker coming back healthy, with Laken Tomlinson being on the team, I don't think Herbig will come back. Unfortunately, I think he's going to have, based on his year with the Jets, some starting opportunities. I'd love him back for interior offensive line depth, and he has a good relationship with Joe Douglas, so there's an outside chance. But I believe Herbig will try to go to a place he'll get starting opportunities. And since you mentioned Greg Zuerlein, yeah, baby. Please, there hasn't been a lot of smoke around this, which is kind of concerning. One name to keep an eye out for potentially as we do this legal tampering preview, Robbie Gould of the San Francisco 49ers, a former All-Pro. He's been in the league forever. He's a guy who's going to test the waters after the 49ers didn't give him a good deal. Obviously, the 49ers connections with the Jets. He's a guy who's got playoff experience. He's been around. He's been super reliable. So if the Jets don't bring back Greg Z, and again, the lack of movement there is interesting. You thought that would be a guy that would have already re-signed by now. Watch out for Robbie Gould. To me, he is a guy that makes a ton of sense for the New York Jets. Bangus, who is a relatively new subscriber, although I think they put that in their comment every time, but I respect it. We should sign Bobby Wagner next. We will have the best linebacker trio. That would be interesting, but probably too rich of an investment. I was on the Bobby Wagner train if they did not sign Quincy. I'm not sure if Bobby comes along. He may be too expensive, but Levante David or one of those guys, super cheap on a contender, maybe, but I think they may look to dip for sure. Let's go to Alon here. We'll try to go rapid fire, get to as many of these as possible. Thielen, Pochich, Gardner Johnson. Could you see us being very interested in all three? Quinn in 4 years, 110 million, 75 million guaranteed. Sounds right. Yeah, that's right around the ballpark. I think it will be 25 million plus, which is at your evaluation, obviously, which would be like 27 and a half. So that's around the range. I think it's going to be in that 25 million plus per year ballpark, 4 or 5 year deal. So yeah, it sounds right on that end. Thielen, of course, I think they'll be interested if the price is right. Pochich, he is going to be the top of the market center, so that may be too rich for their blood. I think they may go a little cheaper than that. I love Gardner Johnson. It also depend on money. Spot Track market value projections have him at a $13.3 million evaluation, which is right inside the top 10 among the highest paid safeties in football. So we'll see on money if they can make that work. But I think they'd be interested in at least two of the three, but Pochich may be too expensive from that standpoint. Let's go to ATN here. Hey, Burger Green, what's up? Abel here from Delaware. If we do get Rodgers, what players do you think he will bring with him? And do you think we can afford another star like Bates from Cincy or Edmonds? Yeah, let's go. So no longer Tremaine Edmonds because of the Quincy Williams deal. So I rule him out. Players Aaron Rodgers can bring with him. Again, groupies, guys that may not titillate your juices. Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard. Another one that caught some steam this week was Jamal Williams, the 17 touchdown running back that broke the Barry Sanders record that had been around forever last season. He may prove a little costly. He's in that $4 million evaluation on Spot Track market projection values. I think coming off a 17 touchdown season, he may command a little bit north of that, 4.5, 5, 6 million per year. Are you investing that at running back? Now, I will say overall, we'll get into this conversation maybe a little deeper in free agency. I think running back's a bigger need for the Jets than people realize. They only have 3 running backs currently on the roster. James Robinson is not going to be tendered, so he's going to reach unrestricted free agency. He's gone. Ty Johnson is a pending free agent. I think he's gone. And then you have 3 under contract right now. You have Breece Hall, who's coming off a torn ACL in week 7. Again, depending on who you talk to, there are different people saying different things about when he's expected back. The Jets publicly have said, he's going to be back by week 1. I've heard other people say, I don't think so. I think they're going to play it cautious. He's going to be out several weeks to start the season. So we'll kind of see. But at the minimum, that one's up in the air. Then you have Zonovan Bam Knight. He's an undrafted free agent. So, again, how much stock do you have there? And Michael Carter's coming off a bad year. So, really, running back is an issue. Now, do you want to go Jamal Williams route? Do you just want to go a Raheem Mostert? Maybe he's another guy to keep an eye out for, scheme guy. That would make sense. He's a guy that also spent his first 4 years of his career with none other than Aaron Rodgers. So there could be a package deal where Aaron Rodgers comes and his groupies come, former teammates, former players, things of that nature, offense, defense, namely. And that's also why it's important ahead of the legal tampering period. If you know you have Aaron Rodgers, you can use him as a recruiting tool. Oh, you want to play for Aaron Rodgers? You want to play with Aaron Rodgers here with the Jets? All right, take a little less. So that's a big part of the puzzle. So there are some names. And yes, I do believe they can afford Bates. Again, it'll be that floating Jordan Whitehead conversation as well. Ethan, does Quincy deal mean we can't get Rodgers under the cap again? No, it does not. There are more deals to be had. And no, that does not mean we can no longer fit him under the cap. No, there's more to be done anyway. So whether or not the Quincy deal was this massive deal, it's not. That will not matter. Yes, we can get him under the cap. That can happen. Again, you just need to be under the cap by the new league year, which is Wednesday, 4:00. Kevin Escorchata, Rodgers has to be the most egocentric quarterback in NFL history. I don't disagree, but I guess you could be that egocentric when you're that good. Hawk, I don't give a flying hoot if it takes 2 weeks, as long as we get Aaron gosh darn Rodgers, baby. Absolutely. That's it. That's all I care. Yeah, Ikeem, that's funny. I'm going to lose my bananas. It's funny because, again, you sit down, and again, we'll dive into this deeper later in the week for the Jets Twitter Diehards documentary. You sit down for a 45-minute interview, and they ask you 30 questions, and some answers are short, long, and everything. So when they put the trailer together, I didn't even know a trailer was coming out. Then I just got tagged. I went, oh, look, there it is. I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. So that made the cut. But that was funny. That's going to be again, apparently I just need to put some stuff on t-shirts. I just say words, and apparently the words got chutzpah, Holy cannoli, lose my gosh darn bananas. Apparently that'll have some run after one Jets drive. I should probably get that shirt ready. But yeah, all of that is on the table. All of it is. That's great. Hawk, we're not going to regret passing a card. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Wins are not a quarterback stat. That they are not. Miles, do I think Aaron Rodgers coming to New York? Yes, I do. Billy, fleece the pack in JD we trust. Amen. Joe Douglas has been getting it done on trades. He has never lost a trade. If he has, I have not seen it. That's for sure. Akeem, did you see the interview Rodgers had with Aubrey Marcus? I think he really touched on a lot of great things. I do want to see it. I have not seen it yet. I was going to see it, and then everyone just kind of transcribed, not everyone, not the whole thing, but transcribed a lot of interesting points from it. So I said, oh, I got what I was supposed to get out of it. But no, I do want to go back and see it. He seems like he's a very unique personality. Let's go here. Seems like Jeremy Fowler's broken everything of substance so far. Yeah, there are some things, but some other things it seems like he's either been wrong on or miscalculated. Like he said, like, oh man, Derek Carr's leading to the Jets. And then Derek Carr, like an hour later, signs with the Saints. And the offer was in the previous night. So, like, something Jeremy Fowler didn't know. Again, not trying to crap on Jeremy Fowler. The job of NFL insider, I'm sure, is very difficult. I'm not one. I've only broken like maybe 2 or 3 stories in my career of like, hey, look at, and it wasn't like Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Jets. So I've broken very small stories from very small sources. I can only imagine being on that level with that kind of stuff. David, what happens if it's midnight Monday night? So going into Tuesday and Aaron Rodgers is not a Jet. I'm getting a little more worried, I would say. I'm getting a little more worried, I would say. But still before the new league year. So I'm an optimistic guy by nature. I'm a glass half full. So I would go like, you know what? Maybe it's this. Maybe again, if we get no updates at all tomorrow, again, we're almost in tomorrow. We're almost on Monday officially. We're almost officially 12 hours away from the legal tampering period. I'll get a little bit more worried, especially if we hear nothing. But I am amped up. Virginia Beach, yes. We went back to Virginia Beach when my dad was doing some naval work there, so that's very nice. It's a beautiful place. What's the place? There was this Shark Grill, something like that. That was there when I was there. That was a super cool place. Good food. I don't know if that's still there. Miles, what players do you think the Jets will go after if we get Rodgers, OBJ, Lazard? We talked about some of those before, but I will just say in general, I think the Jets will be super aggressive. If they get Rodgers, I think they're going to try everything in their power to like get the veterans that are ring chasing. And while that seems weird for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 12 years, like you get Rodgers, all of a sudden people start believing. So again, I'm going to make up a few names, but like Levante David is a free agent. If he's like, oh, I could come to the Jets, be like the third linebacker in that awesome defense, that'd be great. Or like, again, OBJ is a good example. Lazard's a good example. I'm trying to think of some other guy, like a Jamal Williams, who could get more money elsewhere and goes, oh, no, I want to play for the Jets. Like, that's the kind of stuff. Thomas, it's not a guarantee make the playoffs. With Aaron Rodgers, I would guarantee that the Jets make the playoffs outside of some horrific injury. Outside of a horrific injury, I'd guarantee playoffs. Now, if you don't want to go Super Bowl or that far, that's I understand. Dave from New Brunswick. I don't know what's funnier, Boy Green's Ranch or Green Bean not reading the chat. I only see him reading the chat like someone else messaged me this the other day, like when he's on Jets panel. Hopefully I'm on there one day. That'd be cool. But like I see Green Bean like reading the chat and calling people idiots when he's like reading it, not talking, just kind of reading it. But hey, different strokes. I love Green Bean though. He's the man. Dark Soldier crew. Hit the like button. Appreciate it, please. Let's keep going here. Ted Daniels. It's not easy being a Jet fan, Paul. Thanks for all you do. And I say this from the bottom of my heart that when the Jets win the Super Bowl, when, not if, maybe more years of getting beaten down, like some of the older Jet fans are all pessimistic. I continue to be optimistic. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's all going to be worth it. It's all going to be worth it. I know that. But I appreciate you guys supporting the show. It means the world. Bino, if he's still undecided in the AM, at what point do they start looking at a plan B tomorrow afternoon? Bino, I'll say this for people who don't know. I know it's hard for like us fans to understand it. They've already been looking at a plan B, C, D, E, F because, I don't mean to be grim here, but let's say Aaron Rodgers gets hit by a truck tomorrow. All of a sudden you go like, up, I guess we don't have a quarterback. Like, no, the Jets are doing all their homework on and I know these names won't titillate people, but the Jimmy Garoppolos, trade for Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, like the Jets aren't all eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. And if we don't get him, like, I guess we're screwed. Like the Jets are doing their due diligence again, I operate my life this way. And I think the Jets are operating this way. You hope for the best. You want the best things to happen, but you expect the worst. So you have to be prepared for all scenarios, basically. So I think they are doing all their homework. But obviously, Aaron Rodgers, and for good reason, is plan A for the New York Jets, as he should be. Vern. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. First time checking in since end of the season. Hi, Paul. Yes, the off season is our season, baby. Gonna get announced at like 3 a.m. like Le'Veon Bell. Hopefully not in the middle of a rap. And I'm like trying to interpret it in the middle of the night going, did he just say the Jets? Like, hopefully it's not that. Hopefully he's not that. Oh, wow, Hennessy, I saw this so late. It happened, he signed. I was like, oh, who signed? Aaron? No. That's okay. All right, I'll come back up to your comments again. We always jump to the YouTube Super Chats first. So let me keep scrolling my way down here. Again, like I said, that option is available for all of you on the YouTube Super Chat. Ron is like just absolutely delivering, and I love it, baby. That is amazing. Let's bring up Ron once again. I love it. Hey, you can keep them coming, baby. I appreciate the support. Sorry to bogart the chatters, but good Jets content creators need to be compensated to stay on. Can you explain the options that the Ravens have with Lamar? Ron, feel free to bogart the chatters as long as you want to, and I really appreciate it. Yeah. We try all kinds of different things to support, so I appreciate that. So here's the thing. Field Yates explained it actually in a really great way for those who don't know. I've even said it, for that matter, that like if you don't get Aaron Rodgers, then you got to go for Lamar. Easier said than done. From what Field Yates explained, and I think it's a factoid that a lot of people don't know, he got the non-exclusive tag, which means starting on March 15th, he can teams can offer him an offer sheet. Now, why you have to wait till March 15th instead of tomorrow to speak with Lamar Jackson is because Lamar's his own agent. So starting tomorrow, the legal tampering period at noon, you are allowed to talk to someone's agent about a potential deal. But since Lamar doesn't have an agent, he is restricted from speaking till March 15th. So there's a little rule that, first off, many people won't know. Number two, another interesting nugget is that if, let's say the Jets, we'll use them as an example, offer Lamar Jackson a 5-year deal, $250 million, $50 million a year, fully guaranteed deal, right? Let's say they offer him. Again, we're just completely speculating here. But if they offer him that deal, the Ravens have 5 days to, and he signs it, obviously. The Ravens have 5 days to match, which means the $50 million per year average would be on their cap. And as Field Yates described it to me, it's a great interview on my channel, guys. Feel free to check it out to dive even more into detail about this. But you'll be, quote, landlocked. And what that means is that even though you don't have Lamar Jackson on the roster, even though there's still a chance the Ravens could match, the Ravens could bend the Jets over the barrel, or any team for that matter, and wait the 5 days of having $50 million on your cap, even though you don't have Lamar, which makes it incredibly difficult, of course, to operate in free agency when all of a sudden you lose $50 million immediately because that money floats in the balance. So that may be something you guys are not aware of on the options with Lamar Jackson. So from what I've heard from Field Yates and Jeremy Fowler, they don't believe any team will offer Lamar Jackson a deal on the non-exclusive tag by a team signing him to an offer sheet because of those complicating factors, which means it doesn't guarantee that Lamar stays a Raven, but that means some of these teams would have to go through the traditional sense of reaching out to the Ravens trying to negotiate a tag and trade deal that does not include the non-exclusive. So a lot of us thought non-exclusive meant all hell breaks loose. And while technically it does, because of some extenuating circumstances, ultimately it does not. So it does not appear, actually, that Lamar will be an option for the Jets, unfortunately. And I'll share that video out if we get into the Lamar Jackson waters. I don't want to share it out now because we're all waiting for Aaron Rodgers, so I don't want to be a buzzkill. But yeah, the Ravens' options with Lamar is they can kind of put him over the barrel, the Jets or any team for that matter. So the current vibes is that no team will offer Lamar Jackson on an offer sheet, which seems crazy. And it's not necessarily the collusion, but it's the fact of the matter that with the rules of how the non-exclusive work and how the Ravens have 5 days to match, they can really block teams from doing a lot of stuff. So hopefully that explains a lot of what you were hoping for there, Ron. But thank you so much for the super chat. Third super chat. That's almost a record, baby. And I love it. Absolutely love it. By the way, the YouTube Super Chat feature is open for any of you guys. If you'd like to throw it in, I always appreciate the support. Means a lot. Thank you very much. Also, guys, for the 265 people I see currently in here, again, make sure you like the video, baby. YouTube loves likes, so keep them coming. It helps expand the channel and gets it to other people. By the way, let me look at the current number. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers, so tell a friend. We're trying to get there as quickly as possible. The current number is, let me take a peek ski. We're at 3,867 subscribers. So we are 133 away. That's what my math degree tells me. I don't really have a math degree, but we're 133 people away from 4,000 subscribers, baby. So tell a friend, subscribe, tell your mama, your grandma, gam, don't matter. Let's try to see if we could get to 4,000 subscribers. Hopefully before Aaron Rodgers hits. That'd be nice. But feel free. Let's spread the love, baby. I'm trying to get up there with some of the greats. You know, you got like Green Beans. He's at 10,000. Jet Central at 30,000. I'm just trying to get to 4,000. Baby steps, baby. So yes, feel free to show your support if you're watching for free. That's the best way to do it. Let me get back to wherever we left off here. Let me see. Feel like Aaron Rodgers is dissing us? That's possible. It's possible. I don't think so though. Dave from New Brunswick. There's some rumors that Stephon Diggs might want to go to Dallas. I don't know how true that is, but thought it was some interesting tiny smoke. Yes, he has given some vibes and some cryptic answers. Again, I do sports talk radio. So we're hearing all the Bill stuff. But according to the contract, apparently it'd be impossible for Stephon Diggs to be moved. Now, we've said that about certain players before, like Carson Wentz. No way he gets moved with his contract, and sometimes it happens. So anything's possible, of course. But from what I hear, it is a near impossibility to move his contract from a Bills perspective. So interesting. I'm glad you brought it up, Dave, but it does not seem like that's going to happen. Although, with Jalen Ramsey coming to the division, can't cover Garrett Wilson, though. But good ad, Miami, going all in. Man, it looks like the AFC East is going to be spicy, baby. JR Jet. I'm nervous, but I feel like it's getting done. I blame the mainstream media for putting out so many fake updates. JR, it's a fair point. I'm going to be honest. And I'll be honest, JR, I'm sure I've contributed to it, so I apologize. But I'm trying to give you guys the best updates possible. For instance, like I said, for those who may have missed it, over the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, I've woken up early every morning to catch the latest update from SportsCenter and then the latest beginning of the Get Up TV show. And normally every day they have a different insider. So Jeremy Fowler, Diana Rossini, Dan Graziano. So I try to get up because they've been obviously starting very early with the show, the Aaron Rodgers update. So I record it on my phone and I'm like there because ESPN has like restrictive properties on trying to screen grab like I do for other clips. So I can't do it off the ESPN. So I just have to wake up early to see it. And I'm recording it live and then just tweeting it out immediately for you guys. And unfortunately, to your point, JR, there is a lot of these non-update updates. Like they'll say, man, we're just waiting on the green light. We're just waiting on Rodgers. Like this part of the deal's good. This part of the deal's good, but just Rodgers and we'll figure it out. And then you're like, so nothing. So yeah, there have been a lot of fake updates, unfortunately, which I think has just made this even more nauseating with the waiting. Right. I mean, I'm sure the waiting would have been bad either way, but I think you are onto something, JR, that's made it a little tougher. Quincy is going to get stronger. I believe it. JRJ, Quinnen is totally getting done now, of course. Like, it'd be kind of weird to get Quincy and not Quinnen. Let's go. Kareem, transaction predictions for tomorrow. Cuts, extensions, Rodgers. Good to catch you live. Kareem, and I know a lot of people say that because I'm kind of all over the place. Like, I only decided like 15 minutes before something we're going live. So I know sometimes people can't catch me live, but we're going to have a better schedule here in the future. I do have a new podcast dropping this week, Jet Central. Spoiler alert, for those who are staying up this late, you deserve the scoop. Jet Central will be joining me on my brand new podcast. It is the sickest podcast out there beyond all things New York Jets. I'm going to be bringing on New York Jets content creators, and I got a lot of fun stuff planned. So we'll be doing that during the offseason once a week, video show on a different channel, but you guys will see all the content. So hopefully you guys really dig that. So we got that first episode dropping tomorrow. Hopefully with Aaron Rodgers news. That'd be cool. Transaction predictions. Let me see. I think we get the Carl Lawson restructure. I think he stays. It's just restructured. You could add void years. You could be a mini extension, something. Corey Davis could be traded. He could be a part of the Aaron Rodgers trade. I don't think enough people are talking about that. The Packers like Corey Davis, so an eye out for that. Cuts. Jordan Whitehead, depending on the safety market, could be a guy. Extensions. Bryce Huff is an extension to watch as a restricted free agent. Rodgers, I believe, ultimately that he gets traded here. Let me go back to any of the other stuff. Keep an eye out for Larry Ogunjobi. He's a guy the Jets were interested in free agency last year. The late stages of free agency ended up signing with Pittsburgh. The Jets are interested in him. He could be a replacement for Sheldon Rankins potentially. So keep an eye out for that. There's a little nugget, if you will. Larry Ogunjobi could be a guy that the Jets we will see deals like Jets agree to this deal or Jets agree to principle. Like you'll see some of that with the legal tampering period, even if contracts don't officially come out till Wednesday. Let's see. Steven here. Hey, Paul, I'm fed up with all this. If it doesn't work out, I wouldn't go for Cousins because simply when he raked us over the coals. And I tweeted that video out, actually. The reason why I even mentioned Kirk Cousins, I was in the ESPN NFL Insider article that he could be an option for the Jets, the next best option. I wouldn't want him because, again, he used the Jets. And some people say, hey, it was business, man. I don't care. You burned us, man. So it would take a little getting used to get Captain Kirk Cousins. Dave from New Brunswick. I've also heard that the Panthers might want to move down. The hell is going on? Yeah, because the Panthers just moved from 9-1, and then there's been chatter that they may move down. We addressed that with Randy Mueller actually on our show. There is some people that believe that's BS. That's just them talking. To me, you don't move from 9-1 because, again, in theory, let's answer all of this. In theory, you move up from 9-1 for this rumor to be true. You like multiple quarterbacks. You find the one you want. You're like, oh, well, we can move back to 2 with Houston or 3 with Arizona or 4 with Indianapolis. Probably Arizona probably will trade back, but 1, 2, 4, you trade back, still get your quarterback and get a bundle of picks. From what we've heard, BS. They're just kind of blowing smoke. That you don't, in my opinion, you don't trade from 9-1 unless you know who you want. So is it C.J. Stroud? Again, there's the McCown video before he got hired by Carolina where he's going crazy about him. Could be Anthony Richardson, who's super talented. Bryce Young, who's the shorter guy. I feel for shorter people, vertically challenged, 5'3" in a slanted hill, and Will Levis, who's a freak. Probably my gut is C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson. That's what my gut's saying right now, but we'll see. Let's see. Steven, Paul, if we don't, I'd rather Stafford. Stafford to me is broken. I remember him, of course, from the 2009 draft. He went first overall. Sanchez went 5th overall when they traded up. I love Stafford's arm. He's crazy, but I just think he's broken. He's been too battered down. He could be a surprise retirement at some point. He could be traded too because the Rams are blowing everything up and selling everything off the farm. But I would not want Stafford because I think he's too injured, too banged up, unfortunately. A-Rod will play for 2 more years. God, I hope so. Hennessy, Big Q will get extended before training camp. Not right now. Could be that late in the process. And he would probably prefer that. While I know he said differently, I think he'd prefer that because it's better money. Everaldo, the decision will come tomorrow on road to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I will be screaming Super Bowl if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers. John on YouTube. What did I do in my life to deserve this torture? Good Lord. Hey, man, it's going to be worth it. I know it's sick for a lot of you Jet fans out there. And me too, obviously. I've had a very back and forth relationship with it, to be honest. I used the scene from Happy Gilmore. when he has, and I mentioned this on the earlier video today, or yesterday, now that we're officially Monday. Hey, happy Monday, everybody. What are you people doing? We have 250 people in here. Like, do you have families? You sleeping for work? What's going on here? I appreciate you carving out the time, though. But I used the Happy Gilmore scene of Happy and his girlfriend. The girlfriend's leaving the apartment at the same time Adam's like coming in. He's like, "Oh, you're staying? I got Subway." And she goes like, "Nah, I'm out of here. You're a loser." And then she goes down the elevator and he runs over to the intercom and goes, "No, baby, please don't leave. Don't go." And she's like, "No, Happy, you're a loser. I need to do something in my life." And he's like, "Good riddance. I didn't even watch you." It's like, "Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I didn't." Like, it's been that back and forth thing with me for Rodgers. I'm like, "Oh, Rodgers coming, Rodgers coming, Rodgers coming." And then the Pelissero tweet comes out. The deal isn't even close. I'm like, "Damn, screw you, Rodgers. I didn't watch you anyway." And then I'm like, "The night goes easy." I'm doing a little bit of that singing into the intercom for him. I just want Aaron Rodgers. Hopkins, Boy Green. He's a little older. Probably will go for a third or fourth. I don't think the value is going to be crazy, to be honest with you. So maybe, but probably seems a little expensive contract wise. He's going to be like $17.5 million over the next 2 years. DJ Chark, he's an interesting height, weight, speed guy. I like, depending on money. He got the 1 year flyer from Detroit last year, which was nice. So he could be interesting. Rock, I do know that the Jets have had additional contact with Rodgers since their meeting in California. Yes, they have had connections and chats with Rodgers since that point. With him, the Packers, and everything, because obviously it's all interconnected. They have had chats. I can confirm that since that meeting. Yes. From those I've talked to, yes. Yes, they have. But at the same time, from all the reporting, is that they're letting him take his time. And also with that, the teams take their time in figuring it all out. I've had a few people ask this, but I'll bring it back up because I know people come in and out of the chat. The Quincy signing does not mess up the cap space for Rodgers. No, it doesn't. They have moves to make, and again, that has to be cleared by Wednesday. No, this was in the cards. Actually, the extension, if anything, could help. Technically, it's going to be an unrestricted free agent, so he would have counted nothing because obviously he would have been gone. But no, the extension will not make that prohibitive. Dark Soldier. Trade for Evans. He had 1,100 yards in only 15 games. You have all the traded wide receiver chat. Like, Evans has been super durable, and he's a big body. Like, again, if you're looking for that basketball team feel of, like, kind of providing something for everyone, you have Garrett, the shifty guy, Elijah, a little smaller, and then, like, Mike Evans, a big body red zone guy. That could be a lot of fun. So I'd love it. Give OBJ the same contract Corey Davis got. Again, if you put Corey Davis in front of me and OBJ, and they're both hanging off a cliff and save one, I'm picking OBJ. I'm more excited about the ceiling of OBJ. Now, $20 million a year seems a little rich, as Hennessy says. $20 million, but OBJ, the player, I think he's exciting splash. And again, put him with Rodgers. I think that could be fun. Alex, who said he only watched 1 year? Did he say it? He had a weird comment to Brandon Marshall on the interview. That was the big update from late last night into Sunday. They said, you can't be an all-time great if you only play for 1 year. Brandon Marshall played 2 years for the Jets. So was that kind of a hint that he only wants to play one more year or what? I'm just saying in general, no matter what, like if Rodgers said, hey, I would only play a year, hypothetically, he isn't officially said I'm only playing a year. It's a lot of reading the tea leaves. But I'm saying even if he did say that, I would still want to do the trade because I'm all for chasing the ship. Everyone brings up that 2008 season with Brett Favre and says, man, that sucked. And while the ending certainly sucked, I won't lie, 1-4 down the stretch, it was exciting. We were 8-3. We beat the 10-0 Titans. We beat the Patriots in overtime. The Jets were considered at 8-3 a Super Bowl contender, and they said, man, what seed could they get? Could they be a number one seed? Like AFC East, like everything was on the table, and then everything collapsed with the Brett Favre torn biceps he never told anyone about. So I remember that season being especially exciting, and I had Brett Favre on my fantasy team that year as a Jet fan. That was fun. Well, the first half was fun from the fantasy perspective. But no, I'd be willing to roll it for 1 year. Aaron, going to bed. Wake me up when Rodgers decides. Hopefully that happens live on the show. That'd be fun. Paul, it's bedtime. I don't blame you, people. I should probably be going to bed too. I left my fiance and the baby in the bed to do this live stream. That's commitment, baby, if I've ever seen it. Hennessy. Yeah, hopefully it could work out that way. It's juggling a lot of balls to do something like this, but I think because the wide receiver market could trade Corey Davis for something, again, part of that Packers package and going after Lazard would be Chef's kiss. Be perfect. Garrett Evans and Moore is a nice wide receiver trio. You're damn right it is. That's sexy. Hall of Famer in the morning, boys. Sleep well. Same to you, John. I hope so. Antonio. Oh, this is an interesting pitch. I love the Hooters pick. That's very nice. Woody should get Rodgers on a private jet, have Bobby Flay cook his favorite meal, and pay Cardi B to give Rodgers a lap dance that would help him make his decisions. Hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Steven, I heard this as well. Yeah, Cleveland called about Elijah Moore ahead of last year's trade deadline. The Jets firmly said, go kick rocks. They pick up the phone on every player outside of Zach Wilson, apparently, initially, although that has since changed. They were interested. Again, I would be surprised if the Jets moved Elijah Moore. I know Green Bay would love Elijah Moore, but the Jets know, I'm sure, that bring Aaron Rodgers here, Elijah Moore takes on a different level. So, yes, it is true. The Browns called the Jets about Elijah Moore trade last year. The Jets told them to go kick rocks. So I would be surprised if Elijah Moore's moved, unless it was some crazy offer. Again, I guess you have to consider that on any player, relatively speaking. But yes, I do know that they called the Jets about an Elijah Moore trade. Another super chat coming in. Whoop, 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 whoop. Here it is, Vladdy P. Throw this up here. Oh, we have a couple from Vladdy P. I'll get back to your other one. Sorry, I'll go through these. How much should we be worried? I am, for one, badly. We have a mailbag coming out on Heavy on Jets in the morning, later in the morning, because it's technically the morning right now. I am at a 2 or 3 on the scale. I believe that Aaron Rodgers' trade to the Jets will be announced in less than 12 hours. That's my guess. Ahead of the legal tampering period on Monday, I believe Aaron Rodgers to the Jets will be announced. So how worried should all you be? That's a personal question. That's up to you guys. I know a lot of you are. I've seen the comments in here throughout the whole show. So I know a lot of you are, and a lot of Jet fans are built that way, Vladdy P. But I am only worried on the 2 or 3 scale right now. Again, if we go through the whole day tomorrow with 0 update, then maybe I'm creeping higher to 4, 5, 6. Another one here. This is Mac and Vladdy P. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. 5 cents, $2, $5, $10, whatever you guys do. This means the world to me. So thank you so much for digging into your own pockets to support the show. Mac and Zegan, holy cross. I'm losing hope in A-Rod. How we feeling? I'm not, but it may be my nature. I claim to be the most optimistic Jets fan on the planet. So I just see life glass half full. I say this saying every once in a while, but it's worth bringing back up. You don't control the cards you're dealt in life, right? Like you're born a certain way or this or that, or you have a shitty thing at work or something. You don't control the cards you're dealt, but you can control how you handle the cards that you're dealt. So that's how I try to live my life. That I don't control sometimes the situations that are presented to me, but I try to make the best out of those situations because that's what I can't control. And if you choose to have a crappy day, you'll have a crappy day. But if you try to have a great day, then I believe it's within your own mental power. Maybe I can be the next motivational speaker, but that's how I feel about it. So I'm still incredibly optimistic. And as soon as you get Aaron Rodgers, everything can happen from that standpoint. So I try to live a positive life, and I try to send those vibes out to the universe. So hopefully those same vibes can be understood by everyone who watches the channel. But thank you, Mac and Zegan. Ron Weiss here. What would Tampa Bay want for Evans? Interesting question. Godwin may be the one that may be more easily tradable. I've heard a lot of different names thrown around. Let's see. Let me just double check the Mike Evans contract here because I know that was a thing. Because, again, if they choose to rebuild, there's been some talk about potentially Baker Mayfield. They have Kyle Trask on the roster. So maybe you just blow it up now that Tom Brady's gone. That could certainly make a lot of sense. He's in the middle of a 5-year deal for $82.5 million, and he is in the last year of his deal, it appears. He's got a 1-year number here. Let's see. Base salary, $13 million. Cap hit, $23 million. Dead cap, $21 million. So maybe that's a post-June designation trade. Man, the money doesn't look feasible, but it looks like there's some void years here. So we'll kind of see on that. But, depending, I don't think it's Jalen Ramsey bad, like a 3rd-round pick and a tight end that's caught one pass before. but maybe would take a second and change potentially. Yeah, I think a first would probably be rich, although let's see here. What do we got for age? Mike Evans is 29 years old, so and he's going to be 30, it looks like, before the start of the season or during the season. So second and change, maybe. He's a really talented player. But again, I think once you get Aaron Rodgers, there's a potential to go incredibly aggressive from that standpoint. Okay, wow, we're getting a lot of super chats in here. Really appreciate it, guys. It's awesome. Late on a Sunday night / kind of Monday morning. Vladdy P, if Aaron doesn't want to come here, then he can go shove it where the sun doesn't shine. We were here before. We'll be here after. Jets for life. Vladdy P, I love that. That's awesome. And that got me laughing, which is great. That's funny. But yeah, I think the message, right, is you want players who want to be here. And again, the Jets pretty desperately and transparently and publicly want Aaron Rodgers. So we will see what the holdup is. Maybe it is a complicated trade nature for this potentially. But I hope he wants to come here. I hope there's this rejuvenated life. I believe if he gets traded, he's going to have this massive chip on his shoulder for Green Bay, basically publicly saying, we don't want you, pal. And then like to be as motivated as possible to prove the doubters wrong. Aaron Rodgers seems like that kind of guy. So I really hope he wants to be here, embraces being here, and embraces the opportunity of playing in New York and all the pressure that comes with that. We can only hope. Ooh, that'd be cool. John Casenza here with the YouTube super chat. Thanks, brother, for the super chat. Rodgers on McAfee tomorrow with the Jets hat on. Yeah, it could be. Again, we talked about it earlier. I think there are 3 distinct possibilities. What you just said, McAfee just boom, I'm going to the Jets, baby. Because there's been some flirtation, like AJ Hawk has tweeted the eyes emoji, Pat McAfee the eyes emoji. So you like hints that maybe. So I'm sure Pat McAfee would love it for his own show. I wonder if Aaron Rodgers cares enough to give him that success. So that's possible. ESPN insider like Diana Rossini seems to have the pulse. So she would be interesting. Or does Aaron Rodgers himself, like his own Twitter or Instagram or something, just, kind of Tom Brady rolling out of bed, Instagram videoing, hey, I'm going, I'm retiring, I'm doing whatever. I could see that. I could see that too. That's certainly possible. I can't believe you people. You guys are crazy. We got 250 people in here on Monday morning after midnight. You guys are crazy. I love it. By the way, another reminder, guys, I'll say it 1 or 2 more times. We'll be on for a few more minutes. We're already at the hour 20 mark. I thought we were only going to be on here for an hour, but you guys are crazy. And of course, I got to answer all your questions. And of course, so you have 2 ways to contribute for free, of course. And I appreciate no matter what you guys can do, what you're capable of. Everyone is in different financial situations. So whether you can afford the YouTube Super Chat, which is available for all of you, throw a little change in the tin cup, feel free to do so. I appreciate it. Or if not, the free way all of you guys can contribute is by liking the video and hitting subscribe. And like I said, let me get another update here. Let's get an update on subs. Where we at? Where we at on subs? Again, we're in a mad chase to 4,000. What's the current number? Oh, we got a few more here. We're at 3,871, which means we're 129 away from 4,000. So again, guys, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Show your love, baby. We'd appreciate it. And we'll try to see if we can get to 4,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. That would be spectacular. So we'll see if ultimately we make it there. Okay. Let me see. Give me honest car. There you go. He's more straight up, I guess. Going to bed. Let me know when Rodgers decides. Will do. Paul, it's bedtime. Yes, it is. Up. We got another super chat. All right, sorry guys. We gotta skip right to the super chats. That's my promise to the fans out there. Let me see. Work our way through here. Like I said, I try to get to all your guys' comments if I can, but you guys got a lot of comments here, so super chats are always guaranteed. How could I not? We got Vladdy P. Got John. I'll get the other one here. Okay, we got Jorge Perez here. Let's throw this up. I think we should forget Rodgers for now. It will be whatever it will be. If he's here, great. If not, move on. Diana Rossini is great twins. Yes, she does. I love Diana. She does a remarkable job. I don't think we should forget Rodgers for now. It will be what it will be. Maybe it. I mean, I know the Jets are doing their work because legal tampering period's happening. They're not just going to wait around and say, "Well, we're not going to talk to any free agents. We're going to wait for Rodgers." Of course, they're going to do their homework. They're a full life organization, going to do anything and everything in their power, Mister Perez, to figure out some way to make it happen. But you know, they're going to be focused on him, but they will be focused on multiple things. They will have to multitask. That's for sure. They will have to multitask. But we will continue to wait for Rodgers. All right, I'm just going to go from current backwards. All right, let's see if I can do that. I don't think it'll be Raiders. From all the Raiders people, I don't think so. Maybe a surprise. The Rodgers is at the Knicks game. I did not see the report. So you guys have photos or it didn't happen. That's what they tell me. Photos or it didn't happen. King Blaze today. Rodgers is a Jet. We can only hope. I don't think he retires at this point. I don't either. I'd be surprised. If he retires, imagine the memes. Flatty P. Yeah, that'd be brutal. Any chance he stays in the Packers? I don't believe so, but I guess I will candidly say last year in the middle of everything, I was like, no way he stays, and he did. If he does, I guess we go for Jordan Love, baby. Less proven. I prefer a proven guy, but he'd be kind of fun. Bakhtiari, he already had a restructure, which potentially could be a preemptive thing for a trade, but it sounds like he's staying. Hennessy, Elijah asked for a trade last year and he didn't go. No, yeah, so I'd be surprised unless it's part of the Rodgers trade. Possible, I guess. That's a good point. Rico the Pub, why does it seem like everyone has a question about using more as a trade piece? Like, are we in the business of giving away good talent? Yeah, like when you read that article, Mary Kay Cabot wrote the article about the Elijah Moore trade interest. They'd be like, wow, like from the Cleveland perspective, obviously, like, wow, this trade would be so great for Cleveland. You pay Elijah like $1 million this year, $1 million next year, and you give like the Jets a shitty pick. Like, oh, it's great. What is this, like Madden with a 4-year-old? Like, why the hell would the Jets give him away with all the reasons that she just listed? That's the reason why the Jets should keep him. So yeah, some of that to me is bizarre. Again, unless it's some team says, hey, a first-round pick and change, and Joe Douglas is like, well, and even then, I don't know. I mean, everyone, the $1 million man, everybody's got a price. Maybe, I don't know. Edgar, would the Jets trade more for Lazard? Lazard's a free agent, so no. And straight up, nah, man. I would prefer more ceiling and upside. Let's see. Gohan angered. This drama is one of the reasons I wasn't interested in the whole situation. There's no guarantee we get a title from him joining a team, especially since the AFC is tougher than the NFC. Let's go through a couple of things here. The drama, to me, I don't give a flying hoot about the drama. You win, I don't care about the drama. So I don't care. I don't care about his vaccine stuff or any of the weird stuff that Rodgers cares about. Don't care. You win, I don't care. No guarantee we win a title. If Jesus Christ, quite frankly, is playing quarterback for the Jets, there's no guarantee you get a title. Injuries happen. Different things happen in the league. Injuries, obviously, that happened last year, injuries to a quarterback or something. So there's no guarantee of anything having from that perspective. So there's no guarantee of anything, although he gives you a great chance to potentially win one. To your last point, the AFC is tougher than the NFC. Sure, the NFC sucks. It does not have great star power. Quite frankly, it doesn't have great depth. Doesn't have great much of anything. But still, like, what are you going to be, a puss about it and say, like, if you're Aaron Rodgers, right? It's just like, I don't know if I want to go to the AFC. They're Josh Allen's at division. No, all these football players are competitors. They don't give a flying hoot about the conference or that conference. Like, maybe it's an underlying factor, but there's like no way that's a driving force. Like Aaron Rodgers, like, man, I want to stay in the AFC because they suck more. No, like, if you have a good enough team, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is going to come with the confidence. Hell yeah, we can win this whole thing. And there's going to be some positivity and optimism towards that, Mr. Gohan Angered. I truly believe, to be honest. Another super chat coming in. Vladdy P jumping back in. If it's not Rodgers, throw some picks to Arizona for Murray. Re-sign Mike White and hope he wins enough games till Murray's good to go. Ugh. Let's go through a couple of things here. Murray, again, you never know with the injuries. Every player heals differently, but I think Kyler Murray's out for the year, to be honest. Or like the first 2 months of the season or so. I think he's going to be out. Like, I don't have Arizona insiders, so I can't pretend to know, but just seeing like when the injury happened late last season and then just timing of ACLs, like it doesn't seem realistic. And then, like, that just doesn't seem great either. Because then, if you trade for Kyler Murray, let's say, I don't think Kyler Murray is long for Arizona personally, but like, you trade for this injured asset. Arizona wouldn't want to trade an injured asset. They want to trade him when he's healthy and they could get the most out of him. So they wouldn't be in a position unless the Jets wowed them with an offer. If you're wowing anyone with an offer, why the flying hoot are you doing it for an injured guy? Like, what is the buzz, right? So if the Jets, let's just play out your thing, Vladdy. They trade for Kyler Murray. I'm going to be like coming on here like, they traded for a quarterback with a torn ACL. Like, it's hard. Like, Aaron Rodgers, like, it's easy to get hyped up. How could you not? He's won a Super Bowl. He's a Hall of Famer first ballot. Like, there's a lot of things to go, wow, Rodgers, rev the friggin' engine, baby. For like Murray, and then like Mike White, blech, blech, doesn't feel good. And then, like, if you bring back Mike White, who has the injury history, then Zach Wilson's one snap away from being him. I don't know. Again, if you don't get Rodgers, it seems like what some of the word was is like Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins. It's not great. It's not terrible. Again, I prefer Rodgers, obviously. I don't want to have losers mentality here, but at least those guys would be massive upgrades. But yeah, for me, man, let's just hope we get Rodgers. There is no backup plan. It's Rodgers or bust. It's Rodgers or bust. Vern, where's Rodgers currently ranked? Top 3 quarterbacks. I think I said it this way. I believe Derek Carr is like borderline top 10. He's in that 9 to 11 range. I said this before he signed with the Saints. And then Aaron Rodgers in the top 3, top 5 conversation. Some people are not willing to put him there. I am. Aaron freaking Rodgers? Yes. Like, to me, that's where I have him. I think Aaron Rodgers can still be among the best quarterbacks in all football. Quite frankly, I still believe he is. That is a good quote. Yes, it is. Yeah, I love the $1 Million Man. I'm a big wrestling guy. Cleveland selected the force trade on Elijah Moore. That makes more sense. Ooh, this is a good question. Lawrence, do you think A-Rod is a good fit for the locker room? It's a good question, Lawrence. And I would say yes. He's Aaron gosh darn Rodgers. I mean, obviously, there's some bend and pull, but I think, like, for whatever weird comes with Aaron Rodgers, right, is, again, I'm not, different strokes, different folks. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy, but his vaccine stuff, and again, we only talk sports on this show. I make that very clear. But your politics, vaccine stuff, and all that crazy crap that he talks about on Pat McAfee's show and all that, I don't care about any of that, personally. But Aaron Rodgers, as you've seen with guys who did interviews like Garrett Wilson stuff, they're goo goo gaga for Aaron Rodgers. He's Aaron freaking Rodgers. They grew up watching this guy, which makes him seem old, I'm sure. But yeah, he's a good fit because he brings instant credibility. Instant credibility. He's won a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers is in primetime games every year because he's so great. Yes, I believe he would be a good fit for the locker room. I truly do. Again, it's only not good in the locker room if you're losing and he starts blaming guys like Garrett Wilson. Way to blow that route last week. Then maybe we start getting a rub. But if you're winning, it doesn't matter. That's my take. Let's keep going here. Rodgers Knicks game again. Pictures or it didn't happen. Let's keep going. Let's try to see, and then we'll wrap up here. Unless you guys keep having super chats, and I am legally obligated to continue this live stream, and maybe we'll just stay up through the night, and then Rodgers will come. Rodgers isn't good anymore. Come on, people. FM, come on. It's like the Derek Carr thing. When he signed with the Saints, everyone's like, Derek Carr's trash. Like we never wanted him anyway, which is like funny, but like, come on. Like, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is elite. He is still elite. That's what I heard, Tid Twist. Although some other people, so again, you say already hinted at when you were the Brandon Marshall video. I thought I heard that as well, but other people thought I was overreacting to that. They thought I was overreacting to that and said, no, he was talking about Brandon Marshall, but he didn't know how long he played. I don't know. To me, it kind of seemed like he hinted at it. But again, even if it's 1 year, I'm cool with it. FM, why not trade pick 13 for Cooper Kupp? How old is Cooper Kupp? That's a good question. Probably early 30s would be my guess. Oh, okay, he's 29, but he turns 30 in the offseason. Maybe? I mean, he's still really good, but yeah, injured last year. I don't know. Mm, maybe some people would rush to the board for Cooper Cup for the 13th pick. I just feel like you get better value like a Hopkins or something, or Mike Evans or something like that. He's good, obviously. He's really good, but Adam Thielen, yeah, he'd be a nice fit. He'd be a nice fit to round out the room. Some good experience, really reliable player, touchdown machine. I really like him. Um, Gemify. Do I really feel like A-Rod will be another Brett Favre for us in a good way and better ways? I think. I think Aaron Rodgers is super talented. Yeah. David, what's the benefit for Rodgers to wait for this long? It's hard for us to sometimes understand because I've never been in that position to be, pulled and prodded multiple ways by NFL teams for $60 million. So I don't know. It's hard for my brain to wrap around, but again, it also could just be the complicated trade. Let's go to Harris here. Very good question. Hi, Boy Green. Say if we do sign A-Rod, who would be the backup? QB2. I hope not Zach. Zach is the answer right now, obviously. It's only him and Chris Trevler on the roster. But maybe a cheap veteran, Brian Hoyer, is someone they kicked the tires on in April of 2021. He's going to be cut by the Patriots on the official new league year. That could make sense. So like a Brian Hoyer, super dirt ass cheap. Casey, just sub. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, baby. Any Rodgers news yet? Let me look. Let me look on Twitter. Let's look all together here. What do we got? What do we got? Does not look like it. Let me search Aaron Rodgers, see if there's anything new there, guys, to give you the latest update here. Nope, I'm just seeing a bunch of Aaron Rodgers memes. That seems to be, yep, just a lot of Aaron Rodgers memes. Sorry, guys. No update, it appears. No update on Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, it would have been cool. Whoever that 12:30 guy was, 12:35 did not happen. Sorry. Aaron was at the Knicks game today. I did not see him. So if he was hanging out in New York, that's cool. New Jersey, whatever. Nick Russo. Let's show this one up. Isn't his mom his agent with a lawyer on retainer for contracts? Apparently that he is. That does not count. The family stuff does not count as a separate thing, according to the NFL bylaws. So again, they will have to wait till Wednesday. It's too close to the vest and gets too murky with him having represented himself in the past and some counsel from his mother. Again, if he has a hired official NFL agent, that is different from what I understand. But because he does not, they're not allowed to. 24-hour stream. I just see that from King Joe. Could be. We could be there. Oh, Knicks are playing in LA. Oh yeah, I should have remembered the West Coast trip. That makes more sense. I thought like, oh, okay, he's in New York. That's significant. The Shadow Realm. I am a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, so I will like send them to the Shadow Realm. No, you play by power, and that is why you lost. I just nerded out there. I'm sure like 5 people in our audience got that reference. Exodia. Obliterate. We're getting too late. We got to sign off. Well, guys, I got to tell you, it was crazy. Thank you. I thought we were only going to go an hour here, but you guys are wild, and I love it. Thanks for tuning in here for this kind of impromptu live stream. Like I said, we have the alarm clock set incredibly early tomorrow, so keep an eye out for Twitter. I will try to have an update either from SportsCenter or Get Up. If there is an Aaron Rodgers update to be shared, I will share it on Twitter at BoyGreen25. And if the update is significant enough, we'll tweet that video out. We'll come and do a quick 5-10 minute YouTube video on it, and we'll give you that update. And then fingers crossed for the next, update on the Aaron Rodgers thing. So hopefully we're celebrating, baby. Again, in my gut, I believe ultimately the Jets will get Aaron Rodgers, and we'll be celebrating like it's 1969. So let's, fingers crossed, let's hope. Like the video, guys. Hit subscribe. Let's try to get to 4,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. Also, a couple other reminders. brand new Jets podcast. It will be coming tomorrow, and that is in my Twitter bio. It is the Sick Podcast with Boy Green, the sickest New York Jets podcast with Jet Central. That new podcast and episode will be dropping tomorrow, and also March 16th, Diehards Jets Twitter. Yours truly will be featured in that New York Jets documentary, an absolute bucket list item, and that'll be coming out on March 16th. Legal tampering period is less than 12 hours away. It's 12 o'clock Monday when teams are allowed to speak with players. The free agency before free agency. Wednesday, 4 o'clock, the NFL new league year kicks off. Thanks for spending some time with me here late on a Sunday night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you early tomorrow morning. Thanks, everybody. Peace.